causing happiness? Is happiness making you want to have more sex? We don't really know, but we do see that there is a relationship between the two. We can imagine that whatever it is, having those types of relationships, being happier, that this is a good thing. Okay, so 2 fundamentals. I mentioned this last time that there's an important aspect of genetics. Certain personality traits are genetically predicted, like being optimistic, which makes you happier. There's a lot to do with your genetics. Being extroverted, you tend to be happier. And that's largely genetically contributed. So sometimes, some aspects of happiness are genetically predicted. Some people have an easier time, but we will not reduce ourselves to the cult of the average, that if we're born with it, we're never going to get it. That's ridiculous, right? Because we know that almost an equal portion of happiness is based on intentional activities. Okay, so we'll get to those. We've been talking about them. We also know that we have this capacity to adapt. So circumstantial things like getting married, winning the lottery, getting your dream job, getting accepted into your college of choice, all those things are wonderful initially. People who win the lottery tend to report high levels of happiness when they win. But we adapt to that. In fact, in one study, they compared people who had become paraplegic to people who had just won the lottery. And as you can imagine, when you become paraplegic, your happiness goes way down. You are very unhappy with your new circumstance. But within 1 year, the level of happiness is about the same between these 2 groups, which suggests that we don't just adapt to these good things in our life, we also adapt to the bad things. And this is a picture of my sister with her children, and she is not a skinhead, although she rocks the look, I think, pretty well. But she did go through cancer, and she went through cancer after going through a divorce. And while she was going through all of this, going through a divorce and going through cancer, she lost her job. Both of her dogs died. Some of you know the story. Man! I mean, when it rains, it pours. Right? And then right at the end of that, the pandemic hit. She's like, what the hell? So, yeah, people have these kind of tragedies happen to them. And yet, they can be incredibly happy. What happens to make people go through horrible stuff like this? And there was a lot of loss that she does not have cancer anymore. She is free of cancer, but she has extreme consequences. Like, she was divorced and newly single and went through rapid aging because of the treatment. Rapid aging, like instant menopause, all those things. Right? It was tragic. It's still tragic. But she's happy and doing very well. Why are people who experience tragedy, not just Miriam and cancer, but other people who experience tragedy, why can that in and of itself be a factor in them being happier? Casey.
Maybe they learn to appreciate what they have and stuff, and they become more grateful.
They become more grateful, and their focus on the small pleasures in life increases when they go through this. This doesn't happen to everybody. So what do you have to intentionally, this is effort that goes into this. You have to intentionally focus on what is going well when so many things are not going well. What else? Somebody else had an idea. Galen.
Perseverance. It builds perseverance.
Yeah, and a pride in your capacity to overcome. Like her knowing that she has overcome all of these setbacks builds her own confidence in herself. I'm like, I went through this, and she is a survivor now. And once you've gone through something, you become a survivor, and that's builds into your identity and your sense of feeling proud and good about yourself. I think a key and a really important thing is when you experience tragedy, maybe you get a sickness like this, maybe you become paraplegic, maybe somebody close to you dies. These horrible things that we endure, to find meaning in them, that is the most important part. And for many people like Miriam, they would not take back having had this experience because going through it made them look at life differently. It was a perspective shift that occurred. And for her, she actually had these portraits taken during chemo because she wanted to remember this event as this pivotal moment in her life where she shifted and said, yes, like, my children are the most important thing. And how I spend time with my kids and making that a priority is what I'm gonna do from this point forward. She's so intentional. Even to this day, this is like maybe 3 years after cancer. Every time we talk, she says, I love you. My family, we didn't do that stuff, but now she does. She tells people she loves them. She checks in, all those things. That's not uncommon for people that go through this kind of tragedy. But it takes effort. And in particular, when you go through tragedy, it takes effort. And that's the thing about happiness, you guys. Anything worth having is you gotta work hard for it. It's not like even if you want to have a healthier diet and lifestyle, that doing it for 2 weeks is gonna make you all of a sudden happier. No, it's not gonna work that way, right? You have to make it something that you do all the time and put the effort into making it happen. Now the good thing about effort and changing some things in your life, at first it does take that effort. But eventually if you do it enough and consistently, it becomes habit. And if it becomes habit, you don't have to think about it. Like incorporating exercise into your life. Or, getting to know, the people at the coffee shop, or whatever it is, those little things, yeah, you initially have to think about it. Make yourself do it. Maybe it's uncomfortable. But then again, over time, it won't be. Happiness is a consequence of personal effort. You fight for it, strive for it, insist upon it, and sometimes even travel around the world looking for it. You have to participate relentlessly in the manifestations of your own blessings. And once you have achieved a state of happiness, you must never become lax about maintaining it. You must make mighty effort to keep swimming upward into that happiness forever, to stay afloat on top of it. And that's true, again, with almost anything. In marriage, we said 2 years, it brings you happiness. Well, I can go much longer than that, but it takes effort. It takes you really every day thinking about, how can I keep the spark alive in this relationship? How can I make sure that they know that I love them? All those things require intention. All right, top 10 strategies for happiness. Number 1, change your behavior. Think about those things we were talking about already. Easy thing you can do is just get more sleep. That's easy. I mean, it's not as easy if you deal with insomnia or something else. I hope you don't. They did a study. People who got less than 6 hours of sleep a night for most of an entire week